NBA champion, Sirius XM NBA analyst, Pelicans color analyst, also a Fox Sports Radio NBA analyst. We welcome in our man, Antonio Daniels. Antonio, what's up?
Yo, yo.
What's up, fellas? And Rob, you are 100% correct.
Antonio,
go ahead.
Please
on people
explain
writing
to
off
Chris.
Jokic?
Yes.
Antonio, let me ask you this.
Yes, they
you
were.
said, hold on, this is what I was arguing with Rob. Just because people thought Denver was going to get beat does not mean that they're saying Jokic is. That's all I was arguing. Because you wrote off Denver, but I don't think you were thinking Nikola Jokic isn't still the best player in the world.
No. I didn't write off Denver. I said the series was not over. I didn't say the series was over.
And when they were down 2-0?
Yes, I said they deserve some championship grace on this platform and many others. There's no way I wrote off Denver after two games.
I thought you had Minnesota winning the series.
No. But here's the thing. Here's my thing, though. Why I say Rob is right, because you're right. You're right, Chris. There is a difference between saying Denver's going to lose and writing off Jokic.
That's
you know how many
all I'm
people
saying.
called in? Right. You know how many people called in our Sirius XM show when Denver was down 0-2 and called Nikola Jokic overrated?
Thank you.
Said that the Denver Nuggets team was overrated. That they knew that he wasn't this good. They just had an easier run last year in the playoffs.
Thank you.
All
That's what
these
they tried to discredit him.
Yes, no question about it. They definitely tried to discredit him. And with me, this is the funniest and most frustrating thing about covering the playoffs, is the fact that the narratives change so quickly. Now the phone stopped ringing. The phone stopped ringing about those that were writing off Nikola Jokic. Now it's going the other way. You know, now all because somebody has to get blamed when you lose. No teams just lose and just walk off in the sunset, especially in the postseason. Like, it's a blessing and a curse to make it to the postseason. The blessing is you make it to the postseason. The curse is the fact that when you lose, conversations are had that aren't had otherwise.
Giving receipts like that, I'll accept that. If you had callers calling in saying Jokic isn't as good, and I didn't see that, but that's fine. If you say that, that's good. I'll accept that.
I tried to tell you.
Rob said
wrong.
Rob said that. If you would tell me callers like that,
I didn't write down
fine.
everybody's name, but I'm just talking about, Antonio, the vibe that I got, the reason that people were so quick to give up. You just talked about it. They won a championship, and right away they lose 2 games, and they were waiting. Because there's to me, this is just what I feel. There's no math to this. There's no science, okay? Is that they don't want him to be the best player. They would rather not him be the best player. They would rather not.
Why?
And because he doesn't fit in with everything that's the NBA. This guy comes over, he treats this job like a 9-to-5, Antonio. Like, he's working, he's over here, he can't wait for the season to be over, he can't wait to go back to his homeland, right, and play around with his horses and live that life. He's not a part of this. He doesn't care about this stuff. He's not wrapped up in social media and beefs with other people.
I know, but my thing is, I'm not saying I disagree with you, Rob, but what I'm asking is, if they don't want Jokic to be that guy, who do they want to be that guy?
They want Ant-Man. They were hoping against hope that this guy who won 1 playoff series in his life and was up 2-0, that they were ready to stay. I've seen it before. Devin Booker, he's the next Kobe Bryant. They were up 2-0 in the finals against Milwaukee.
Right.
Chris Paul is a top 5 point guard now. Once he wins the championship.
About Chris Paul.
I'm just saying, like, this is what people do. And if they could discard Jokic, they would. That's all I'm saying.
Antonio, do you think that?
I don't disagree with that.
Do you think the series is over?
Yes.
I do,
you mean
too.
the Minnesota-Denver series?
Yeah.
Yes, I do now. I definitely do now. Because it's almost like the life has been taken away from Minnesota. Like, if you look at the first 2 games, they were allowed to defend at a level that wasn't permitted in Game 3 and Game 4. And I felt like that swayed and messed with them mentally. The same aggression that they played with defensively in Game 3 and Game 4, they weren't allowed in Games 1 and Games 2. They weren't allowed to get away with in Games 3 and Game 4. And that was a huge swing. So now after for me, I have a question for you guys. Are you guys okay with what Anthony Edwards said yesterday after the game about Nikola Jokic?
Being the best player, and he just laughed?
Yes. Yes.
I am. It's the truth.
But you know what?
Now, that don't mean saying he's the best player in the world doesn't mean you don't think you can beat him.
Right, but I don't know if you have to say it. I don't have to pay you a compliment.
That's what we talked about today. Because I wonder, so would Michael Jordan ever say that?
Larry Bird said Michael Jordan was God disguised as Michael Jordan. That series wasn't over yet. It was after he scored 63 in game 2. And that's Larry Bird, who's as competitive as they come.
I think we all know, Chris and Rob, there's a difference between, something can be true, but just because it's true doesn't mean it has to be said. I love Anthony Edwards. I think he's the best soundbite in the NBA because I love how real he is.
I agree.
I'm the kind of juxtaposed to this. I wonder how this was viewed by players from the 80s, players from a different generation. Is this something that was viewed as, well, he's telling the truth, or is this something that was viewed as, well, he's telling the truth, but this is something you wait to say until the series is over and decided?
Well, we will see them. I'm not writing them off yet. I obviously they're down but they're not out yet. But I'm not writing them off. Let's get to the other series, Dallas OKC. Who do you have pulling this thing out tonight and in the series?
I have Dallas tonight, and I have Dallas in the series. I had Dallas in the series before it started, and I do have Dallas tonight. But if those two, meaning that backcourt, Kyrie and Luka, don't play well, Dallas ain't winning. They ain't winning. Any way you look at it. There was a reason that many people, myself included, thought Dallas was one of the most dangerous teams in the Western Conference heading into the postseason because of those two guys, because of Luka and because of Kyrie. And the thing is, right now it's 2-2, and Luka and Kyrie still have not played well yet. So if they can find that gear that both of those guys had to end the regular season, that both of those guys had in the first-round series versus the Clippers, then they finish this in 6.
What do you, quickly before you go, Kyrie, because he's had 2 9-point games in this series. His floor game's been okay, but I don't think he's being aggressive enough. He's only taking 12 shots a game in this series. What do you kind of see going on with him?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I want to give credit to OKC because they're putting length, whether it's J-Dub, Jalen Williams, or Aaron Wiggins, they're putting length on him. Cason Wallace, to be a rookie, is a really good defender. So they're throwing different looks at Kyrie, and obviously Lou Dort is going head-to-head with Luka. He has 21 fouls in 4 games. So it's a lot. It's a lot that's going on. It's a whole lot that's going on. I don't know about the aggressiveness because Kyrie, it seems like he allows the game to breathe in the first half. And then what we've seen is the second half is when he becomes ultra-aggressive and starts to kick some things in gear. But he hasn't had that same aggressive approach in the second half of a lot of these games, especially against the OKC Thunder.
Right.
All right, one last thing. Before the playoffs started, I thought to myself, and I said this on the show, that if the Joker wins, that would be 3 wins in back-to-back championship and 3 out of 4 MVPs. I said, I don't know how we can't consider him to be a top 10 player. When you think about the other players who are out there now to be able to do this without another all-star or first-team NBA player on your squad, just, Antonio, where would he fit in if they win? And especially this one, if they come back and win the championship, down 0-2, losing your first 2 games at home, and you go all the way to win a title. Would he be able to enter the top 10 in your estimation or not yet?
I don't. You mean top 10 all time?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't have a top 10 list. That's something I've never actually sat down and put together. I mean, there are some things about Nikola Jokic I don't think that we can question. I feel like he's the most skilled center ever. I don't know where
he's the first point center too.
Right. You can't find a center of that size with that skill set that has that ability to see, not just see, but also deliver. Because a lot of centers can see it, a lot of point guards can see it, but you don't have the skill set to actually deliver that pass. So I don't know where he sits all time as far as top 10, whatever it may be, but I think he's definitely in that conversation, especially with the accolades that you just named, Rob, and the meter's still running. So it's not like he's at the end of his career. It's not like he's in the twilight of his career. Right.
Well, yeah,
right.
I
So
think
he still has a lot of work to do.
I think he could definitely become a top 10 player of all time. I wouldn't have him there yet after just his second championship. That's my view of it. But
I hear you.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Great stuff, Antonio. Thank you.
For sure. Appreciate it, fellas.